The time has come. Execute Order 66.
But I've got news for you. Copernicus called, and you are not the center of the universe.
So this is Florida governor and Republican candidate for president, Ron DeSantis. And last year, he championed a bill going through the Florida state legislature called the Parental Rights in Education Bill, basically protecting grades K through 3 from sex education, all kinds of sex education, not just gay education, gay sex ed, or teaching kids what non-binary means. And it sparked outrage, not necessarily at the Florida park, but at California, where the movie studios are, creators are, and where Disney headquarters is. And this is former director of DEI at Disney, LaTondra Newton, the creator of things like Reimagine Tomorrow. She basically challenged the boss, Bob Iger, to the point where he had to backtrack, not basically saying we are not getting involved in Florida state politics. We're moderating our tone. And she forced him to do a hostage video. This is LaToya Ravenel, one of the idiots on part of Reimagine Tomorrow. And it's basically an an inclusion initiative that supposedly includes everyone. Drag queens, pedos, and everything, all right? These people were upset because Florida was giving parents the rights to see what their children were learning and what books were in the schools. Okay, in comes Peter Rice, leading the charge. One of the top executives at Disney. He came over from the Fox acquisition, one of Rupert Murdoch's favorites, and he basically took a shot at the king. Now, that was a stupid thing to do, okay? Because lo and behold, I think on a Thursday morning, I looked at my email and went, holy shit, they fired Peter Rice. Sent it to Cameron, and then it went from there. We thought this guy was safe. But of course, we know late October, he was unceremoniously, weirdly fired. And of course, Bob Iger came back. So Bob Iger, I think, was viewed as the savior of the wokesters at Disney. They were safe, blah, blah, blah. And LaTondra Newton, feeling very strongly that she was able to survive the Peter Rice debacle, the firing, that she'd be okay. But as life would have it, no, not really.
Oh, she's horrible. I've made a ghastly, ghastly mistake.
Everything is proceeding as I have foreseen.
The fleet has moved out to flight speed and we're preparing to...
You have failed me for the last time, Admiral. Apology accepted, Captain Nita.
Word hubris means, in the ancient Greek, pretensions to the gods. The story I'm about to tell you is pretty much a story of hubris on a scale of, I can't even describe it. LaTondra Newton, like I said, was emboldened by the fact that she had been able to survive the Peter Rice firing with Bob Chapek gone, she felt emboldened even more and started being very aggressive about pushing her agenda, which is, if it's not queer, it can't be here, or if it's not black, it has to go back, etc., etc. And she was starting to feel like she was untouchable. Well, the executives, of course, pushed back to a point where she met a wall, and she got fed up. And she did, but because she's LaTondra Newton and thinks she can do whatever she wants, okay, because she's the one that made it through, even Victoria Alonso's not there anymore. According to one of Kamran's sources, Raven, who broke the hiring freeze story, by the way, to Kamran, basically she walked into Iger's office and did something so stupid that I can't quantify it. She basically said to him, if I am only going to report to you, that's it. If I cannot, I quit. He fired her on the spot. Now, it's not just what she said, but I'm pretty sure that he'd probably heard complaints from people. Like she probably tried to do that to Dana Walden and Alan Bergman and others. Dare I say Kevin Feige, who's in the middle of trying to fix Marvel so it doesn't get broke. And, you don't do that to Bob Iger. It's, to me, when I read that, let me go back and look. The fact she did not take Disney's financial woes into account, it's what they call living in your own little world, and she told him straight to his face she would no longer report to anyone but him, and obviously she was causing trouble, and basically trying to take the king on again, on her own, without any executives on her side. And she lost her job. He fired her on the spot. All right. I can't imagine the stories Willow Bay, Iger's wife, gets to hear at night when he comes home. All these crazy bitches at work, But that's what this is. This is a tale of hubris. This is a tale of believing one's own bullshit. That one simply is untouchable because of what one looks like and what one represents. And the fact that one thinks that they're the biggest fish in the company, even though they don't run the company, their job really is meaningless in the company. And it's a tale of I would say a Hollywood leftist getting pushed to the brink by a woke asshole, okay? And, I'm going to say this is woke assholery. And this is hubris-filled jackassery on a scale that I have not heard of. It's one of those things where you're looking at it and you're going, who the flying fuck do you think you are? He's the boss of the company. And his job's on the line. First off, this is the funniest thing. And I love it because it's great. The funniest thing is, this foolish little woman thinks her job mattered. Her little niche that she carved out in Disney that caused so much pain and suffering, that has caused billions of dollars in financial loss to Disney, means something. To me, I look at it like a survivable, cancerous tumor, malignant, but if you cut it out, the patient should survive. And that's exactly what Iger finally did. This is what I think. And this is what I believe. He had been getting complaints about her. Bergman had been getting complaints about her. Others have been getting complaints about her. Maybe CFO Former CFO Christy McCarthy was on her side. She looks like she looks like a woman who would be woke in that way, protecting her pet. And she was fired. Okay, and maybe Newton just saw the fact that she wasn't getting what she wanted, and she didn't realize that. I mean, look, this is how safe she probably thought she was. She didn't realize that these people went to Iger and said, this woman's driving us fucking crazy. We can't get anything done because she won't leave us alone. And she's meddling in places she doesn't need to be meddling in. And I think that's probably what happened. But, maybe CFO Christy McCarthy's firing made it a lot easier for Iger to look at Newton standing on the opposite side of his desk, screaming at him, and him going, "You're fired." I could see it. Not even yelling at her. Okay, and Bob Iger is known for having a huge temper. Okay, so what you witnessed last week and what Kamran found out from Raven is that literally there are people out there they're little tiny individuals that don't matter in the scope of the world who think the world revolves around them. And then the world, the masters of the universe, like Bob Iger, have to go in and squash him like a bug. And he did. If you're a DEI director, keep your head down, shut your mouth, and try not to be noticed. That's my advice. This is Steph, signing out. I'll see you around the galaxy.